Yes.
All right. Welcome to Two Lawyers Talk Legacy. I am Lisa Kay here with you today, joined by the lovely Sandy B. Law. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely. So, our topic for today has to do with what's your legacy? So, we're throwing out that question. Want you guys to begin thinking about that, and we're going to jump into this topic here momentarily. But I'm going to turn it over to Sandy for some announcements before we get into this.
All right. So, guys, always want to remind you that we are here live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. We're going to talk about probate and guardianship, heir property, wills, and trusts. Come here, ask your questions, tune in for some great information, and be sure to share this video, like, subscribe to the channel, etc. Also, want to make sure that you're aware we have our Learn Biz Entrepreneur Journal now available on Amazon. We are hitting the 6-month mark, y'all. So I think it's important for you to make sure that you get your copy of your journal now before you miss out on this 365 days of journaling for your business.
Absolutely. So true. And I love journaling my business. It's a great thing. I feel like I'm giving my business some daily love with my journaling.
All right, guys. So let's get into today's topic.
Legacy, 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 legacy. Black excellency. Baby, let them see. Legacy, 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 legacy.
All right. So you know that we are talking today about legacy, and we thought it to be important to talk a little bit about definitions and, when it comes to legacy, what is it that we define as legacy? Because this concept of legacy, this concept of estate planning and guardianship and probate, all of these things are based upon our intentions.
Yes.
And so when we talk about leaving a legacy, um, there are so many different things that come to mind. You hear people talk about it. You have this Jay-Z song talking about legacy and Black excellence. And, you know, it to me brings about so many different things. Now, when I pulled up the definition, I just Googled it. All right, what's the definition of legacy? And there are a couple of things that come to mind. One of them is an amount of money or property left to someone in a will.
Mm-hmm.
I think back in the day, we spent more time talking about legacy versus saying that, we left, the estate or something like that. So legacy was often associated with inheritance,
Yeah.
and a bequest and things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Then it also says the long lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc., that took place in the past or of a person's life. So it's kind of like when you say somebody left a rich legacy of maybe real estate or a rich legacy of innovation or creativity or artwork. And then as a descriptive word, it says denoting or relating to software or hardware that has been superseded. So it starts to go into some legacy systems and systematic things, which is a little bit different. But notice some of the words that pop up when I look at the word legacy: heritage, bequest,
Ooh.
inheritance, gift, benefaction, endowment,
Mm-hmm.
patrimony, heirloom,
Mm-hmm.
settlement, birthright. I mean, devise, all of these words that talk about something that you are leaving.
Yes.
So it's a personal thing, right?
I agree. So that means essentially a legacy is what you intend for it to be, what you make it to be. And a legacy is going to differ from person to person.
Right.
So now, in our context of estate planning, when someone leaves a legacy, I think it does sound like some type of inheritance or
Right.
something that you own during your lifetime that you're going to leave to someone else. And so the issues always become what's the best way to make those transfers happen
Right.
seamlessly, especially when you got titles to property, real estate, or bank accounts or anything where you have to transfer that legal ownership. How do you make those legacies transfer, um, I guess, with ease?
Yeah, and
First,
I mean,
you got to define the legacy first, but then how do you transfer it?
and that's why I think when you and I were talking about this, it was like, all right, when we think of legacy, planning always comes to mind for us. When we're in the estate planning world, we deal with probate, we deal with guardianship, and so when we're thinking about legacy, it's really the inheritance piece that kicks in. And the other thing is to understand that the legacy is based upon your plan, right?
Yeah.
It's not my plan, it's not Lisa's plan, it's not your family's plan. Your legacy is
Yeah.
based on your plan.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a plan,
Oh
then
boy.
what are you leaving as a legacy? Chaos, stress, frustration, lots of money being wasted, lots of debt. The legacy that you leave is based on your planning and your preparation for tomorrow. And
Right.
it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave everything you have to your kids or to your family. But what is your legacy if you're not leaving it to anybody?
Yes. Yeah. That's true because I mean, you can actually leave your family with a headache, and that could be a legacy in and of itself. That
Facts.
we had a big old headache to deal with and a bunch of cleanup because one of our family members, this is how I'm envisioning family talking. One of our family members didn't take any time to do any estate planning or legacy planning, and ended up losing a lot of money out of their estate that could have been passed on to heirs, and they could have left a much greater legacy than what was done.
I mean, if you want to create loss when it comes to what your value of your estate is, leave it for probate. Because I want you to think about this. The expenses for probate are not going to be a couple thousand like it would be for estate planning. It's going to be thousands. So
Yeah.
let's say on the off chance you have $100,000. There is a chance that $100,000 before it even hits your family is going to be payable to partly to creditors,
Mm-hmm.
attorney's fees,
Yep.
court fees and costs.
Yep.
If your family is battling over it, you know that there's going to be some issues there where there's more money that's going to be spent sending
Mm-hmm.
out paperwork, fighting with people. Attorney's fees will increase if you're going to litigate and go through the court process more lengthily. So it's like people need to understand that there is a cost to you not planning, and that cost doesn't affect you. You're going to be gone. That cost is going to affect your family, and whatever you think you're leaving, it's not going to be facts. Ooh,
Right.
sorry, I forgot to say, hey, Rigo. How's it
Hey,
going?
good morning, Rigo. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support as always.
So, this conversation about legacy is important for you to define what your legacy is.
Yes.
And we encourage you guys in the comments for this live, please go ahead and drop down your thoughts. What is your legacy? What do you feel like is important for you to leave as something that is going to be reflective of your life and the things that you did? Are you leaving something for family? Maybe you don't have any family. Are you leaving something for charity? Are you leaving something for extended family members? Are you preparing for the things that are going to have to happen in the event that you become ill or when you pass away? Because you will pass away and you potentially will get ill at some point.
Sorry about that. So my picture keeps glitching. I don't know what's happening there, but we won't worry about that. You see that?
I see it now. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. But anyway, the other thing is you can also leave something to your church. You can leave something to your favorite charity. You can create legacies that way. I'm an advisory member for Community Foundation of Broward County, and that's an organization where you can actually set up a foundation in your own name or your family's name. And how about that foundation it's the gift that keeps on giving year after year after year, because a portion of that investment is always given away to nonprofits who are doing the kind of work that you want to support with your foundation or the legacy that you create that way.
Right.
So there are a number of ways to create like awesome legacies. We just got to, maybe be creative, talk to your attorney and reach out and find out what people are doing to create fantastic legacies.
Look, you couldn't have said it better. Said it better.
Black excellency.
All right,
Baby,
black
let 'em see.
excellence.
Legacy,
Well, it don't have to be black
legacy,
because
legacy.
there's some white
Black
excellence and some
excellency.
money there too.
Baby,
So whatever you want to call it. I don't want people to say where I'm being focused on just one thing, but
Well, Sandy, respectfully to that point alone, Black and Brown communities have historically been underserved when it comes to estate planning and leaving legacies, mainly because of earlier prohibitions historically
right.
due to the laws that prevented us from being able to act as if we have civil rights, because we didn't. So, I mean, so I think focusing on Black and Brown is good, although, and yeah, we help everybody, but we have to be sensitive to some of the issues in our communities that we see all the time.
I think the unfortunate part about what you're saying is this. The reason that we have some of these issues is because we're always focused on including all kinds of different people and groups in our conversations. There are issues unique to the Black community, but there's no focus on the Black community, right? If you look at other ethnic groups and racial groups, there will be a focus, and it may not even be spelled out, right? But there is a focus for that particular group. That is one thing that we've always been lacking. There is never a focus on just us. And so as we go through all of these different experiences, we're still having these same conversations. And I'm like, we're in 2023. We have the most education that we've probably had in our whole lives. We have the most opportunities that we've ever had. We have the most access right here on this screen. We
Yeah,
have the most access that we've ever
than
had.
we've ever had.
And I want you
Right,
to do a
right.
survey. Look around in these social media spaces and see what you see. We're inundated with nonsense. And unfortunately, simple things like planning is just it's thrown to the wayside. Thrown to the wayside. My Sean Denise. I love my Sean Denise.
Hi, my son. Hey.
My Sean says she got a PhD.
So she knows. She knows how it
Oh,
goes.
and when you go to my Sean channel, everything is discrimination, racism, white supremacy. And I'm just like, I'll accept that to a certain extent. But the problem is, when does it become a responsibility of us to dictate how things go? Because we can't say right now there's no opportunity, right? There's still always going to be these systematic issues.
Oh yeah.
But if I work for myself, where's the systematic issue? Right? Like if I work for myself, where's the systematic issue? I'm able to produce income. I'm able to employ others. I'm able to do things in my own way.
Right.
What am I worried about outside of what I'm doing? Right? I know I'm going to
Right.
face those things. As an example, I'm about to go to some stuff this week. Not a person in sight that's going to look like me.
Right.
So does that concern me? Not really, because that's what it is. Right? But I'm there for a purpose, to gain what I need to gain, because I'm going to enrich myself and then enrich others. And in turn, we can kind of circulate information within ourselves. But we don't think of it that way. We're like, oh, we don't see people that look like us, so we're not going to go. Okay. Well, you're not going to see people that look like you in many professions, specifically the legal profession.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but that's also building a legacy of sorts by you trailblazing certain paths and creating those paths, because we're going to have attorneys that come after us that are going to look at, what has been done, to lead the way into some of
Yeah.
these other areas. So I commend you for stepping out there and a lot of times being the only one in some
Yep.
of these spaces. But thank God that you are there and that you bring diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank
The
you.
actual diversity, equity, inclusion, because I keep hearing about it. I keep hearing people create committees for it, and they're designating people and they're doing all this crap. And I'm like, what's the real diversity, equity, inclusion? Is actually being diverse, including people, and being equitable. It's not rocket science. These are foundational concepts in existence. My
Doesn't
Sean
have
says,
to, yeah.
if we know what the issues are, we should be able to navigate. And she's like, planning, what the F is that? Because I agree. And then she says, we need to get the info from whomever we need to get the info from. I am 1,000-fold. And I'm going to be honest, my Sean, I had a struggle with this. because it used to bother me. I would be in certain spaces and I'm like, I'm listening to people talk about DEI and all this other stuff. And I'm looking at them thinking, you guys are wasting time, because if you really want to reach people, invite them.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing. Now, if you're not inviting them, then they have to just come to the table themselves. That's what it has to be. And I've decided I'm not going to wait for an invite. I'm just going to be there. I'm going to take what I take from it. And that's about it. But
Oh my God.
I don't
Can you
know.
imagine some people come to the DEI conferences and they come like,
Hey, I don't even follow it, because I'm like, I get it. People are upset about so many different things. I get it. But, I think we're in a position right now. We need to do better. And what better way? Legacy. This is it. Like, if you're not leaving a legacy in some way, shape, or form, whether it be in your profession, whether it be financially, whether it be to your family, whether it be in your community, I don't know what you're doing. If you're complaining about, what is it called? White supremacy, discrimination, and racism. Yes, they exist. They always will exist. You're not going to change people's mindsets. You're not going to change the infrastructure. You're just
got to work through it, work around it, get over it, dig
Facts.
under it. Just got to get through it somehow.
Facts.
So this has been really great, because our show is Two Lawyers Talk Legacy. And so that's what we're dealing with today. What is your legacy? We have chances all over the place to make legacy, and we can do that in our lives by planning. And as we get ready to go out, Sandy and I together are going to say this saying, because she's not going to leave me on the spot so I can flop this up.
I'm going to read this by my Sean before you go there, because I know you're going to do something. We need to get the info from whoever we need to get the info from. I'm going to repeat that because I think we need to do that. And let's see if Lisa's going to get this today. Let's see what we're going to get.
Remember, we're a team, Sandy.
All right.
So we're going to do the team approach. I'm going to start. I'm going to let you go ahead. I'm going to let you go ahead and finish the ending.
I know why you're going to
fluff it up. So if you plan to fail,
you failed to plan. I thought it was if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Lisa!
Wait.
I'm done. I'm done with the day.
But look, I can help people plan better than I can say it. That's the truth. That's the truth of the matter. So if you plan to fail, then
fail to plan. That's what you want me to say. But that's the reverse, though, Lisa. I'm gonna tell you that's the reverse.
So how does it? Wait, Sandy. How are you supposed to say it again? I'm so sorry.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? If you fail to plan, if you fail to plan, then you do plan to fail.
Oh, sheesh. Y'all, I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. We finally, by George, I think we've got it. Guys, thank you for tuning in to another one of Two Lawyers Talk Legacy. Jay-Z taking us out. Black excellence, right? So we're going to see you guys next time. Tune in on Wednesdays. We're here, Two Lawyers Talk Legacy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.